podcast. I am super excited because we get to talk Rebels, which is my favorite Star Wars show personally because it's so damn good. Um, and so yeah, I always like to start off by kind of going around and you can either tell us, how you got into Star Wars or what brought you to the fandom, or just a good anecdote. Um, I like to go in a little circle, and for you guys, it's probably different, but for me, it would put Kev up first. So, Kev?
Well, being as I'm a frequent flyer on this podcast, I think everybody who's accustomed to your podcast already knows how I got into Star Wars. It's just a family thing for me. So I don't know. I really don't have a whole lot to add to that this time, other than more of the same. Started out in Star Wars at a very young age. Both my brother and my dad, my whole family. It's just been a generational thing, continuing passing down.
All right, that's fair. Just like the Skywalker legacy. And then we have Alyssa. Your story?
Oh, right. How I got into Star Wars. I don't really remember because I was like 6. My parents would just turn on the movies for me. I remember like watching The Phantom Menace a lot when I was younger. And then like Lego Star Wars. I was really into that too. And then I kind of got out of it. But then The Force Awakens came out and I was around like 14 years old, I think. 15, 14. And that got me back into it. And then ever since then, I've been back into it.
Full force. Yeah, I love it. And Pat?
Yeah, I love Star Wars since before I could remember. I've watched the VHS tapes recorded off of HBO, and then it kept going from there. And then really got into the video. I love the Star Wars video games, Knights of the Old Republic, Rogue Squadron, Shadows of the Empire, Jedi Power Battles.
Power Battles, love it so much.
Plo Koon, man. Where my love of Plo Koon began. So
yes.
Yeah, it's just been my whole life. So I love Star Wars.
That's awesome. Yeah, I still every now and then revisit Jedi Academy. I think that's my favorite Star Wars game because you just kind of, I don't know, makes you actually feel like a Jedi. They drop you into the map. You have no idea where to go or what to do. You can one-hit people with a lightsaber, but they could also one-hit you, and sometimes you run into a room, you get disintegrated, and it sucks. You got to spam save a lot in that game. But yeah, that's super cool. But yeah, we're going to just jump into to Rebels. Personally, I love it. And just kind of an overview of why do you love Rebels? So start, Alyssa?
Me? Oh my gosh. Where do I start? I'll start with saying I was one of those people. I was just one of those people that just heard everybody say that it was so bad. So I never even considered watching it until quarantine because I was watching the Clone Wars and I was like, well, I kind of want to watch Rebels now because why not? I'm so mad at everyone because they lied to me. It's so good. And it makes me mad because people are like, no. And I'm like, yes. It's so good, okay? I think for me personally, I love when movies or TV shows have that found family concept. So the Rebels are a found family. Yeah. That makes my heart happy. And I love the character development with the individual characters. So yeah, that's probably it for me.
Nice. All right. And Pat. So Pat came on once before because I asked him to come on last minute, but this is the one I really want him on to because he was yeah. Anyways, go ahead. Go to Pat. Rebels.
Yeah. If I remember from a previous podcast, Kevin said he watched them during quarantine. So I'm in the same boat. Quarantine happened. I'm trapped at home with 3 kids. So I was like, all right, let me run through the Clone Wars. And I was like, well, let me try Rebels out, and ended up loving Rebels almost more than the Clone Wars. Yep. They're such a great team. They all are different in their own ways. And then they all have their own interesting character arcs, and it's a fun show to watch. Yeah, it's got its kiddie moments, but the Clone Wars had that too. So it's all shows are like that. So, yeah, it was just, it's just a fun show to watch, and it was great. And having most of it, some of it spoiled by TikToks with like this character's death, and I'm like,
Sorry.
it still got me when it happened.
Sorry
Like,
about
like even knowing that Kanan was gonna die, I was crying before he died because I knew it was
Spoiler
coming. Yeah, but it didn't matter. It was a great show.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kevin?
Yeah, so regarding the whole like family concept, I think one of the reasons why I love this show so much is for that reason. It's got that family driven, and I don't know how many of you guys have ever watched the TV show Firefly.
Oh yeah.
But Rebels feels like the Firefly of Star Wars to me. It really does, because you have that one crew, that one unit. You got that one crew, that one unit that you follow through all of their adventures, rather than a whole bunch of different solo missions with, focusing on this person, now focusing on this person. Instead, it's a whole show traveling with one specific unit, group, caravan. And so to me, it does. It feels like it's like the Firefly of Star Wars, and that's I love Firefly. It's got a very special place in my heart. So taking those two things and putting them into one, I was like, this is my thing. This is my thing. This is it.
I'll be in my bunk. That's awesome. Yeah, and I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, I watched it all live. I didn't get to binge it, like you lucky bastards. Because you guys don't know what it was like to
I bet.
have to wait
and
not know what's going to happen. And like, you know what I mean? Like Ahsoka left the Jedi Order and she was gone, and you were just never going to see her again. And you had to be on board with that. And it was years later that she showed up in Rebels, and you're like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, we didn't get to do that in one sitting. It was tough.
I did. Sorry, Brandon.
No, it's all good. And we'll start with Pat, but like, I want to talk about kind of your thoughts on kind of mix the next two things of like the design and concept, because some people have issues with the art direction on it. We got skinny lightsabers and stuff like that, and it's, like Alyssa said, it did have some initial hate. It's a kids show and all this. What are your thoughts?
Wasn't it some of it was based off of Ralph McQuarrie's like old drawings, wasn't it? Like everybody's like, ew, look at how Vader looks. It's like, that's how he was originally designed by the art by Ralph McQuarrie. Like, you're gonna tell Ralph McQuarrie he's wrong?
Yeah.
I enjoyed the animation style, the smooth. I mean, you can say the Clone Wars was blocky and angular. Like, it's I don't know why people complain about it. They just want to find something to complain about. And it was a good concept, seeing the like beginnings of the rebellion, and like Mon Mothma still in the Senate, and seeing young Wedge. I was so happy to see young Wedge. I was like, yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it all the way through. Kiddish moments and serious, like it was good.
And Kevin, your thoughts on? I mean, I just think about your TikTok on Yoda specifically, where it's like,
oh yeah,
Yoda, he looks exactly the same.
He does. He does. I took the two pictures. I took the picture of the puppet Yoda and Rebels animation Yoda, and literally layered them over top of each other and faded one into the other. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
They look exactly the same. Like, everybody's like, oh, he looks like he's on ketamine. Yeah, so he looked like he was in the original trilogy too. Like, Yoda was never supposed to be cool looking. He was supposed to look like some wrinkly old freaky dude. Like, that's the point of Yoda. But anyways, okay, so I digress. But yeah, I thought that at first, I will give it this. At first, the animation style was a little jarring to me, because I literally did go directly out of finishing the Clone Wars right into it. And at first I was like, well, this looks different. but it wasn't like a bad different. It was just I have to get used to this.
Yeah.
And then once I got used to it, like halfway through the first season, I was like, God, look at it. It's so colorful and pretty. Like, this is great. Why are people complaining about this? And then the same thing with like the skinny lightsabers. I'm like, look at the original trilogy. I have a TikTok on that too. Literally look at the design of the lightsabers in A New Hope. Take some still frames and put them next to still frames in Rebels. It's the exact same. All they were doing was taking it and matching it to the era of time frame when it was supposed to be. Nothing wrong with that at all. And it's a different art style. Like, people have to quit comparing them like it has to be the same all the way across the board. Like, some
If it's not the
differences-
same, how do I know if it's good?
And well, no,
Yeah.
and you know what? And you know what? That extends to Resistance too. Even like, I know that's not what we're talking about right now, but like, I gave Resistance shit at first when I first saw it, and then I watched season 2 and I was like, never mind, this is actually pretty good too. Like, season 2 fixed it, and I think that's one thing that a lot of people need to do when they're watching anything Star Wars related is get through to season 2. Never judge anything by season 1. Never
Solid.
judge anything by
Exactly.
season
Yeah.
1.
I haven't thought about it just like that, but yeah.
It's you have to wait until season 2, because season 2 of every show seems to be what makes it better.
Mhm.
Clone Wars included. Season 1 of Clone Wars wasn't amazing. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't amazing either. It was in the second, third, fourth. It was when it started building up and getting better and better.
Yeah.
Anyways, I could go on for hours. So let's go ahead and wrap on to the next point before I digress into it.
Yep. Well, last but certainly not least, Alyssa, your thoughts on it?
I mean, they basically said everything that I was thinking, but like, just in general, I hate when people complain about like the art style of shows and they're like, I can't watch it because of that. I'm like, are you a weakling? Like, why? Like,
Are you
I
an
don't
artist?
understand. Like, you're not gonna watch a show because it looks different from the other show you just watched. Like, wouldn't you want to like know about the story or like the characters? Like, isn't that the whole point? Like, I don't know. It never bothered me. Like, when I started watching it, I was like, I don't get why people think this is such a big deal. Like,
Yeah.
it's just a cartoon. Like, I don't understand. But yeah, basically everything that they said is what I was gonna say.
To add on to that and to like kind of finish my point that I never got around to finishing because I went on a tangent. What I tend to say is that criticizing Rebels, specifically like legitimately hating Rebels because of the art style, is akin to hating the prequels because Anakin said, I don't like sand. Like, that's the thing. Like, there's crap dialogue in the prequels,
Exactly.
but that's one element. And if you're hating the entirety of the prequels on that one element, like, people have moved past that. So you got to move past critiquing an entire television show based on not being particularly fond of the art style.
Exactly.
And I'm a lot like you in that matter, where it's like that has nothing to do with the substance, you know, and
Exactly.
being another visual person, or I always just think in images. It's like someone's like, "Oh, this restaurant's really good," and you're like, "Oh, I don't like the color scheme though."
Exactly.
What? Who cares? I don't know. And also, I will say that I honestly had trouble with the Clone Wars art style when it first came out, because everyone was tall, skinny, and angular, and I thought that was weird. You know, for me, this
Blocky
they look
Yoda.
more like people. But yeah, I mean, I digress. But all right, so well, moving forward, I want to know what you think of its. I think I used on the Rebels, its effect that it had on Star Wars as a whole for you guys, because it touches so many things and sets things up. And yeah, we'll just let's do its overall effect, and I also want to hear everyone's favorite character. So I started with Pat last time. So Kev.
The effect that it had, I mean, it gave us so much more depth into the original trilogy, which me personally, I mean, being a 32-year-old dude, like the original trilogy is what I grew up on anyway, and then the prequels after that, and then the sequels after that. So like the OT is my home. So getting more build up and lead up into that, that's probably one of the main reasons why Rebels hit me where I live, was because it fell right into what I already loved about Star Wars. And it felt like that pacing, it felt like that drive and feel. As much as I love the Clone Wars was paced and felt exactly like what it was supposed to, the era that it was supposed to, the prequel trilogy. But I think the effect that it had for me on Star Wars is now characters that I have known and loved for the entire 30 years of my life. I have even more respect for them because I understand what developments led to them making the decisions that they made, or what other characters put influences or stumbling blocks in the way that caused them to have to do what the things that they had to do. All the way down to the fact that they even, retconned in that Rex was in the Battle of Endor, like to where they actually said, "Hey, see that dude with the beard that used to be Nick Sands? Yeah, like guess what? No, that's actually Rex." Like we're retconning that. So like it had a major effect. They actually went and changed certain elements of things that were legends before, and they're like, no, well, that was EU anyway, so this is canon, and this is what we're going to retcon, and you guys have always loved Rex, so now you get to know what really happened to him. And I dig it.
And your favorite character?
Favorite character, Kanan Jarrus. Without a doubt, Kanan Jarrus. He's in my top. So we can share a favorite character, my guy. But he's without a doubt within my top 5 favorite Jedi to begin with anyway. I love the fact that he's so well-rounded of a character. He's struggling to do all of this himself, yet he's kind of got the Obi-Wan vibe, except with no one to lean on. Like Obi-Wan takes on Anakin before he's ready to take on a Padawan, but Obi-Wan has the wisdom of the Jedi Council to lean on. Kanan doesn't have that. Kanan's got nothing but his own knowledge and everything he has to lean on. Yet, with everything stacked against him, every single obstacle that he has that's setting him up for failure, he perseveres and he sticks it out. He has a heart of gold and continues. So yeah, that's without a doubt. Kanan is in my top 5 favorite Jedi of all time, period, and is probably my absolute favorite character of the show.
Beautiful. And Alyssa?
All right, so effect on Star Wars. Honestly, the Rebels explains like so much about the Force that we haven't heard of before. Like when you watch Star Wars, you know what the Force is, but you kind of don't really know everything about it. Rebels goes so much in depth about it, and it made me understand it so much more. That's probably all that I have to say on that. I mean, what Kevin said, it did make me have like a lot more respect for the characters that we already knew from the movies, but didn't know much about. So that too. And then my favorite character, I have so many, but I'm probably gonna have to say Sabine. Just for the fact that, and it's funny because she wasn't my favorite until season 3. Because you don't really know a lot about her until season 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of like how they did that because she's a very closed off person anyway. So the way that they did that I thought was really good. And I just think Mandalorians are so cool. It's really interesting to learn about her, like Mandalorian background, and like what her arcs are probably my favorite in the whole show too. Not to mention that if we do get a Rebel sequel, she'll probably be one of the main characters. But
Yeah.
who knows?
Here's looking at you, Dave. Here's looking at you, Dave. Please give us one. We want it. Please.
But yeah, did I miss anything? I think I got everything.
No, yeah, that's everything. And
Sweet.
yeah, I love Sabine so much, and like you said, her arc is so beautiful once we get into it, and the fact that it came so late is perfect because
Yes.
it's not something she's willing to share, and but Pat.
Like Kevin said, it bridges the gap between Revenge of the Sith and the OG trilogy, which is what we grew up with. So you get to see like even the small detail of like how they got the Y-wings, and it introduces Thrawn, like
Yes.
one of the
Yeah.
best
Yes.
admirals ever. Like I don't know, like it was so rare to have an alien in the Empire. I think that's what it was originally, right? Like he was so great that they had to have him,
Yeah.
even though he was an alien. Like they were against having aliens in the Empire, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's a great gap. It's a great bridge between the prequels and the OG trilogy, and that's why it's awesome. And favorite character, I would say I'm gonna say Kanan is like Kevin said, top 5 Jedi, but I'm gonna go with Zeb. I'm gonna go with Zeb, and I'm gonna do kind of a duo, Zeb and Callus.
Yep.
Just their like bromance that they end up having.
Yeah.
It's very reminiscent of like Gimli and Legolas from Lord of the Rings. Not to go Lord of the
Oh
Rings,
my
but
God, yes.
it's like that. Like even if you read past the Return of the King, Gimli and Legolas, like they go to each other's homes, and when Zeb takes Callus to Lir San, that reminded me of
Yeah.
that. I was like, oh, that's so awesome! Like that's such a cool thing to have happen. And, yeah, just the evolution of Callus too.
Yeah.
Like,
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Because I like Chewie from the OG trilogy, so Zeb is kind of like a talking Chewie almost. He's like just he's got a heart of gold.
Well,
He doesn't come off like that.
his character design is literally off of Ralph McQuarrie's original design for what Chewbacca was supposed to look like.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
That's awesome. So yeah, Zeb.
Awesome. Yeah, and if no one did, I was gonna mention Callus because, in my opinion, that's one of the greatest redemption arcs
Mhm.
in Star Wars.
Easily.
Agreed.
Just behind Vader, in my opinion. But yeah, it's like you guys said, it did so much for the OG trilogy of setting it up and understanding how these rebels could possibly win. And it's not so much that like the Empire is incompetent, but a small army versus the large army, a lot of the stuff George Lucas based off of like the Viet Cong is the rebels, and they're using these quick hit and run tactics, getting in and getting out and getting their supplies and stuff, and seeing that strategy and how they were able to develop based off of that, to me was just really cool, really, really cool. And my favorite character is right there on Alyssa's shirt. It is Grand Admiral Thrawn. I've always loved Thrawn. If you're ever curious who my favorite character is, it's usually the smartest person on the show. Because I just love him as a character because he is the enemy you don't want to fight because he's A, so far ahead of you, and B, you have no idea what he wants. Like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like, Thrawn isn't evil, but he's highly successful at whatever he's trying to do, and you can't trick him or break him down. Yeah, I love Thrawn, and I highly recommend everyone reads all of the Thrawn books. Yes, that is the Legends Heir to the Empire trilogy, the Thrawn duology, that's Outbound Flight, and then the canon Thrawn trilogy, as well as the new one that just started, Chaos Rising. Awesome. Recommend all of it. And the fact that he's not part directly of the Empire, right? He's an alien that's in the Empire. He's from the Triss Ascendancy. He has his own separate motivations internally. So you really, really don't know. You know, he's doing his charge, but you don't know what's underneath that. But overall, every character in the show gets a full arc, and it's like, it's awesome. So let's let's just jump into the show. So season 1, a lot of people felt it was a little slow or has had some issues. Personally, there's a lot of stuff I love from season 1, but I'll get into that. I'm gonna start with Alyssa. If anything jumps out with season 1 for you.
Season 1, let's see. I really like the very last arc where like Kanan gets captured. And I think part of that has to do with the fact that Ahsoka shows up at the end. Because that was before I was really attached to the characters. So when Ahsoka showed up, I was like, oh my god. No, but I really like that
Protocol
arc
has
because-
changed.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
yes!
I really like that arc because well, season 1 in general I feel like gives us a lot of insight about Kanan and Ezra's relationship, like Master and Padawan. But like you can obviously tell Ezra sees him as like a father. So, and I honestly think we get to see most of that relationship build in season 1. So that's what I really like about season 1.
Awesome. And Pat?
Season 1, I remembered where they tried to lure Kanan and Ezra back with Luminara, like the bones of Luminara. Because it showed that Kanan didn't even think he was ready to be a master to Ezra. Like he was like, okay, Luminara will be able to teach you better than I can. And even throughout the episode, Kanan does this stuff, and Ezra's just like, whoa! Like he's pulling guns from people, he's pulling guards and clotheslining them, and doing all this awesome stuff. And at the end, Ezra's like, I don't need greatness, I need you. So he just gives him that confidence that you can be my master. Like it was a great episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite part of season 1.
Absolutely. And Kev?
I think one of the more memorable things in season 1, it was small, but it seemed like it was like a jab in the heart kind of thing, was in the episode Empire Day, when you found out that Ezra was born on Empire Day. Like, that's his birthday, and every year he has to see the reign of the Empire as a remembrance on his birthday. Like,
who's cutting onions in here, man?
that hurts. Like, he lost everything because of the Empire, yet his birthday is the day that he has to watch Empire Day be celebrated. Like, poor kid. I understand why he's a whiny little brat, man. I would have been pissed off too. I would have been pissed off at the world too.
Right.
Yeah. I just love, because he gives me, like, I don't know if it's his backstory or the hair, but he gives me so much Aladdin vibes. Like,
Yes.
riff raff, street.
Literally.
Yeah, the first episode is him like, gotta keep one jump ahead.
It literally was. It literally was.
It probably syncs up that song with that part.
That's a great idea, and I'm stealing it.
There you go. Just tag me in it.
But the thing that really pops out to me is the very first episode, because I mean, some people had trouble getting in. I was hooked from the end of the first episode when Kanan is like, "Hey kid, everyone's gonna know my secret after this," and you're like, and he gets up and walks out, and like he is the first person we see. He's just casually dodging like bolts as he puts his lightsaber together, and you're like, "Oh man, like okay, we gonna do this." And then also the Grand Inquisitor is such a cool character, and it was so menacing. You know, we only got him in season 1, but the way he ended as well. So, I mean, as we all know, season starters and enders are super strong in this show all the way around. But like, the end of the season, watching when Kanan picks up both lightsabers, and he's like using the gun thing, and Ezra's like, I didn't even think about doing that. And he defeats the Grand Inquisitor, and the Inquisitor's hanging there, and he could surely pull himself up, but he's like, nah, dog. Some things are worse than death. And drops, and you're like, oh, he's talking about Vader, isn't he? Like, yeah, it's season 1 was strong in my opinion. There was a lot of setup, which some people don't like, but all of the setup paid off eventually, which brings us right into season 2, starting with Pat. If what jumps out at you with season 2?
What is it? In the end, Twilight of the Apprentice. The reintroduction of Maul, who is now like top Sith. If I had to put a list together, just because of the development he got from the Clone Wars and Rebels. You got it was such a great reintroduction because he like single-handedly just dismantled 3 Inquisitors. Like, oh, I think he even says like, oh, this will be fun, and he just like that's it, and then they just have to like helicopter fly away. But yeah, it was, and then Ezra slightly, Maul tries to make him his apprentice, and like I love that he keeps calling him apprentice throughout the whole show too, instead of just by his name. Like,
I think one of the funniest parts is that he calls him my apprentice, and then eventually he concedes and looks at Kanan and says, "Our apprentice."
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, okay, at least he's meeting you halfway here, Kanan. It's character development.
Yeah. But I'd say that because you got the Ahsoka Vader fight. It was a great 2 episodes. Probably the best 2 episodes of maybe the show. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, I could write a dissertation on Twilight the Apprentice. Like, you can call me Old Master. Like, whew, give me chills.
You can call me Jabba.
But yeah, Kev, your thoughts on it?
You know what? Season 2. I'm looking here at the outline that you sent earlier that shows and this outline shows episodes you can skip. And I'm seeing here that it says The Lost Commanders and Relics of the Old Republic are skippable. And I'm like, no, they are not. Those are not skippable episodes.
I did not make this list.
I know nice little disclaimer, but no, I figured you didn't make the list. I figured you just sent it out. But yeah, I'm sitting there, I'm like, how are those skippable episodes? I watched those episodes directly after I watched the season 7 finale of Clone Wars, because I was like, I need to go and see some of the clones that survived go be happy fishing right now.
Yes.
Because I need to feel a little bit better and feel something. Like, and then just the whole entirety of, towards the end of, that season and everything else, when you actually see them getting back into battle again, and just the show as a whole showing them getting back into the fight of their own choice. Even the line like, it was worth it because we got to choose. I'm like, oh my God, that hurts my heart.
Yes.
It's so beautiful because like, it hurts in a good way. Like, you went out of your own volition. Like, this was what you were bred to do, but you made the choice to do it. Like,
it gave me Eric Killmonger vibes, of
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Alyssa?
I'm looking at the episode list right now. I was also gonna say Twilight of the Apprentice because I feel like everybody,
it's
you
one of
just
the best
know.
episodes, bar none, period.
They're just like the best, one of the best. But I also like the first 2 episodes of season 2 because that's when you see Ahsoka realizing that. Well, I don't know if does she realize it's Anakin that's Darth Vader?
I think she gets a feeling, but needs confirmation. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way.
And then he's like, the apprentice lives. And I'm like, oh, I just know pain is coming. And then it did at the end. But I thought that was really clever how they handled them in season 2.
So that's just the best way I've ever heard that said.
And then it did.
And then it did. Yep. I mean, yeah.
What do you think she chose not to? She could have killed him during that fight,
Yep.
but she chose to break his mask open just to get confirmation that
yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
I've said this before, both in a TikTok and I think on one of these podcasts at one point. But yeah, she absolutely had a kill shot on him. The way that I described it before is, in the Clone Wars, we saw her decapitate 4 Mandalorians in one swing.
Exactly.
With a spinning type motion, come around, go like that, and she decapitates 4 Mandalorians. With Beskar here to here, she had to hit directly right there.
Mm-hmm.
So she has that kind of precision and accuracy, and he was completely open like this when she had one saber here and she comes across with the other. Yeah, she could have cut his whole head clean off, but instead just cut his face mask open. That was entirely deliberate. She could have killed him.
No.
But she I think deep down, she had those visions and she wanted to confirm that it was Vader. That Vader was Anakin.
God, because I mean that, like you said, takes me into that first episode where they're reaching out with the Force and she feels them and shuts down. Like I don't know, it was powerful. Plus, just seeing Vader in that Siege of Lothal episode, he was just a terrifying, like, unstoppable object. They crash walkers on him and stuff, and he like tosses them aside. He was about to decapitate Ezra with his own lightsaber. Like,
Yeah.
that was dark,
Did a kid show.
But I also think about the episode Legacy of the Force. We have the 2 Inquisitors who are trying to get the Force sensitive kids, and I love how we can get a better understanding of power creep in Star Wars. That's, Ezra has grown a lot, and he just got to the point where he can actually fight with these guys, not on equal ground, but he doesn't die instantly, so that's good. And Kanan is fighting them close to equal grounds, but they're still winning. And then Ahsoka like hops in and just murks both of them. Like it was,
yeah.
Like it was sad. And Ezra's, they're like, we have to save Ahsoka, and Ezra's like, she's doing okay. Like,
She's doing fine.
and of course, she throws him down, holds the lightsaber, and is like, "You are beaten." And you're like, "Oh, okay, that's a thing." Anakin must have said that to her as a kid. And of course, like you said, Twilight of the Apprentice is one of the best Star Wars things of all of Star Wars, in my opinion. And also, I was going to make a new animated best entrances video, but Vader's entrance in that, standing on top of his TIE fighter, slowly being lowered down.
Yes.
It's so boss.
Yes, it is.
I love that scene so much because you're like, oh no, it does get worse. Okay.
He's so dramatic.
Anakin being dramatic? Nah.
Never heard of it.
Never.
All right, so we'll jump into season 3. Let's keep it going with what jumps out. Started with Alyssa last time, so Pat, why don't you get us started?
I'm gonna go with that's when Kanan's getting trained by the Bendo, right? The beginning of the season. It was so great because it unlocked. I feel like it unlocked Kanan's potential with the Force. Like he told him how to see without his eyes, which means he had to use the Force better than most Force users, and he made him realize so much about himself. It was a great couple episodes watching him getting trained. So yeah, I just think, I mean, you can do the obvious, the twin sons with Maul and Kenobi, but I went with the beginning just because it was great to see Kanan get that teaching that he needed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and Kev.
Trials of the Dark Saber. Trials of the Dark Saber. Easily.
Took mine.
Sorry. Sorry. I kind of had a feeling you were going to, and I was hoping he was going to call me first, but yeah, no. Trials of the Dark Saber is easily one of my most favorite arcs, probably in the entirety of the whole show. To be honest, I think it's an underrated arc. Just seeing not just an underrated arc for Sabine, but an underrated arc for Kanan, because watching how Kanan is able to bring that out of her with his own maturity is brilliant. Like, he pushes her to her limit and then knows when to back off and when to be calm and basically just embrace her and say, look, this is who you are. It was beautiful. Like, just the whole push and pull of how, you know, you need that firmness, but you also need compassion, but you need to be firm, but you need compassion. Like, it was a perfect dynamic of how to mentor. And I was like, that whole arc was just gorgeous. It was fantastic. And seeing Sabine's pain, oof, ooh, ouch. I definitely, that episode still makes me cry.
Same.
Not quite so much as Jedi Knight, but it does still make me cry.
Yeah, and I love that episode. Element 7's bringing it out how Hera has to actually step in and kind of teach Kanan how to teach. Like,
She said, "I'm mom. Listen to me."
He's like, but the only tool I have is the stick. Like, no, there's carrots, there's sticks. Like, you can you can vary this, like, definitely. But yeah, and Alyssa, your thoughts on it?
All right. So, well, season 3 in general is probably. I always go back and forth between season 3 and season 4, which one is my favorite, because they're both so good. Mm-hmm. And I think the reason why is because doesn't Thrawn get introduced in season 3?
Yes.
Yes. And Thrawn is my favorite villain. But for favorite episode or arc, I definitely have to go with Trials of the Darksaber. I honestly think it's the one episode that got me to love Rebels as much as I do now. Not even Twilight of the Apprentice. But this one, I don't know what it was. It's just the breakdown that Sabine has when she's training made me bawl my eyes out. Not even just because I was sad, just because it had so much emotional impact that you would have never expected to get from Sabine at all.
It's relatable.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's something you can feel it as.
Yes.
The way that they wrote that particular scene, it throws you into it so hard that you're like, oh my god, I've been there. Oh my god, I've been there. Like,
it's crazy.
It's good writing. It's good writing. It is damn good writing.
Yes, it's so good. And I love the fact that, I mean, obviously when Kanan trains Ezra, he's using the light side, but when he's training Sabine, he kind of like touches on like the dark side. He kind of gets her to get angry about it because like that's who she is. Oh, it's just so clever. I just love it so much.
Yeah, it's tough because it's tough to talk about like a show like this that has so much content in such a short period of time. Like, my mind just went actually back to season 2 because I didn't mention the honorable ones where we actually get to see Zeb and Kallus like spend some quality time in the snow and like, you know, Zeb gets rescued, and then when Kallus gets rescued, the only person that does anything is Agent Constantine, who's like, hello, and he's like, hi, and walks away. So I really quick want to bring that up because in season 3, we find out that there's a new Fulcrum. And as it starts, we don't know who that is. And so having that all come together, and especially with how much I love Thrawn. How Thrawn has pretty much already figured it out. He already knows who it is. He's like, all right, well, I'm not going to out him. Yeah, you're going to use this advantage. And we get that a lot in the 0 Hour episode of them actually coming in and like start kicking ass on on their base. But season 3 is consistently great. Like it's there's almost, I don't know, there's very few, if any, lulls in my opinion, besides maybe, well, I don't know. Because we get introduced to the Imperial Super Commandos, and like,
I love that episode.
yeah, it's hard. It's hard to say. We get more Maul goodness, but I will go ahead and talk more about Twin Sons, because we actually get the most fitting end for Maul. A character who in the movie that introduced him had one line. Or sorry, 2 lines. At last we will reveal ourselves and to the Jedi. Last we'll have our revenge. And that expanded into this super interesting, highly intelligent, really well-developed character who was on his own journey of really just loss and revenge and hatred. And he was almost glad when he died, of like, man, I can finally stop. Freddie Prinze Jr. made the comment that, voice of Kanan made a comment that Maul is Sisyphus, the Greek character who's cursed to push a big boulder up a mountain to the top, and then it rolls all the way down, and he has to do that again over and over again for eternity. And him finally being laid to rest in the arms of his enemy, being cradled the same way Obi-Wan cradled Satine, the same way he cradled Qui-Gon. It's just like, I don't know, it's just beautiful. I mentioned a lot, had to mention it here, but yeah.
The fact that Obi-Wan is such a man of character, that he showed him, the man who killed the other 2 people that mattered most to him, that he showed him the same level of respect in his passing that he showed to his loved ones as they passed at his hand, it just speaks volumes. I mean, they for the short, brief moment that we got to see Obi-Wan in Rebels, they expounded with such little time on his character so vastly. And it's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, and we can jump into season 4, which you'll notice there are no skippable episodes in season 4 on this list. But Pat, yeah, what jumps out with you from the season 4?
I would go with either Jedi Knight or A World Between Worlds. Just Jedi Knight, just for the Kanan scene of how it was so beautifully done. Like, he's holding the fire back with one hand and pushing them away with the other, and he gets his vision back and is able to see Hera one last time after he professed his, like, they both said I love it. Like, oh, it's so heartbreaking.
Oh,
and then
it feels
he's like, you know
painful.
what? I need to save you guys first as myself. So he like saves them. And then with The World Between Worlds, just it was so cool to hear, like, you heard Maz talking to Ezra, like all these people talking, and then the fact that Rey.
I screamed.
You even heard dark side voices. You heard Kylo Ren in there too.
Oh wow, really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the even like you get to see, I think it wasn't the sister there, the owl?
Morai.
Yeah. But it was cool to see Ahsoka tell, like, just with her dealing with Ezra, like Ezra wanted to save Kanan, but it's like, no, you can't save everybody.
Yeah.
You can't save your master. Just like
Yeah,
I couldn't.
And I
save
can't
mine.
save mine.
Yeah, it was a great episode.
These
So
damn,
yeah,
damn onions.
My eyes are literally watering, damn you.
Kev.
Yeah, all of those. All of those ones that have me teary-eyed. Yeah, damn you, Dave Filoni, for not only making us watch Kanan die in that manner, but then making us watch it again in World Between Worlds. Like, hey, this
I feel like Dave just
Like-
laughs at us.
like he just looks at you. It's like Dave is just like, he's so good to us. He's so good to us, but at the same time, he's just like, hey, I hurt you with this. You know what? I think I'm gonna let you off easy this week. Just kidding, bitch slap. You got hit again. Like, you get to watch it twice. Like, now you are in pain again. But no, it's I you know what? I think honorable mention though. I think that the whole wolves in a door scene and everything leading up even to the World Between Worlds, how they had to excavate and find the path into it, was just as compelling as when they actually got there. I thought all of that entire sequence of especially that was even more light into Sabine, because all of her knowledge of art and what all of it meant, like, really played a big part in how they figured out what they needed to do once they got there. And I think that was pretty fantastic.
Yeah. And Alyssa?
Season 4 is so good. I always have a hard time like choosing because I love the very last episode so much. But I also love the first 2 episodes, Heroes of Mandalore arc, because it explains, because okay, I watched Rebels after I saw Mandalorian. So I saw that Moff Gideon had the Darksaber and I was like, oh, interesting. And then I watched Rebels and then I realized Sabine gave it to Bo-Katan and I was like, wait. And it got me thinking, and I just think the Mandalore arcs are so interesting.
Yep.
And the fact that, like, I don't know, I just love Sabine. I'm biased, so like if my favorite character's in an episode and everybody hates that episode, I'd be like, well, Sabine's in it, so I love it. But the
Well,
last
Sabine's in it,
episode,
so you're wrong.
you're wrong. Actually, I'm right because I said so. Yeah, but the very last episode, like the last scene, I don't know. Oh, season
Ahsoka
4
the
is just a
White.
masterpiece.
Yeah. Oh, man. Especially, whew, I just all of it. I mean, as you guys know, I'm a big lore guy, like big time, and so for me, I live in the world between worlds of like this is what the Force like springs through. This is there's I've mentioned it here several times on the podcast, but there's a short story called Master and Apprentice by Claudia Gray, not to be confused with the novel Master and Apprentice, but she writes a short story that's in the From a Certain Point of View novel, and it's Qui-Gon's Force Ghost talking to Obi-Wan Kenobi right before the events of A New Hope. And it's amazing. And it starts with, in Qui-Gon's mind, of him separating himself from the collective that is being part of the Force and reconstituting his body. And he's talking about how time is not really a thing. All time is concurrent to them at that point in time. And how, yeah, so all of it's concurrent. He's talking to Obi-Wan and he knows Obi-Wan is going to die soon, but he's not sad about it because Obi-Wan's going to join him like as soon as this whole thing happens. And watching The World Between Worlds is like the ultimate like visualization of that, because like you said, you're hearing these old masters' voices, and you're hearing people that aren't born yet. All of this is happening concurrently, and it's the will of the Force that's really keeping things together. But it also, that entrance to the world between worlds was Sidious's purpose with Lothal from the very beginning. And so the Clone Wars showed us all the times that Sidious's plans were about to unravel, and he had to do like a cheap trick just to keep things going. You know, call up Padme and be like, "Hey, fly out to this random system for no reason. Don't worry, you're not going to get kidnapped or whatever." Like, his plans almost unraveled so many times in the Clone Wars. This time it was the exact opposite of, like, he almost won in that episode. You know what I mean? Like, if he gained access to the world between worlds, he wins. It's over. Yeah, there's just so much deep lore. And then also I've love for Doom. And when, like, and Dave Filoni and his freaking wolves. Just,
Yeah.
oh God, I know the whole thing's just so beautiful. But again, we can talk about this for forever. And since we're on it, I actually want to hear your thoughts on The Mandalorian, because we've been hearing these like potential leaks that potentially Ahsoka's going to show up. We don't know if Sabine's going to show up or who else. But these time periods, The Mandalorian is 5 years after Return of the Jedi, and so we know that there could potentially be overlap in the future. I'm just curious your thoughts on what we might see and what you might want to see. And I start with Pat this time, I believe.
I would like to see just Boba Fett. Just as whether he doesn't need to have armor on or anything. He could be Boba Fett without the armor. I know it's apparently was seen to be damaged somewhere, like a rope, like because he was in the stomach or whatever. But just to have Boba Fett again, and to find because we didn't get him in, we didn't get enough of him in the OG trilogy, so I wanted more of him, and just looking forward to finally getting that Boba Fett that everybody that people are like, he's only in the movie for a little bit. Why do you guys love him so much? Because he's Boba Fett. That's why. He has the Mandalorian armor. He's got the rocket on his back. I want more of him. So I'm hoping that we get more of him, whether it's with the suit on or without the suit.
Yeah. Believe it or not, we love him because of the holiday special. That's where he was introduced, and he was pretty cool. Kev?
I will say this. I agree with you wholeheartedly on the Boba Fett front. I am in the camp of people who think that Boba Fett is overrated. Now, but hear me out. The thing is, I don't want him to be. I think that with what we have currently, it's like, I think that he's currently only overrated because we haven't actually got a chance to really see what he can do, because they didn't use him enough. And I think that if they use him more and actually show off his potential better, we got a good glimpse of it in the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Until they canceled the episodes where he killed Cad Bane. So I mean, that kind of sucks a little, but at least we have some knowledge of the fact that he's the one that offed him. But anyways, I digress. I agree with you though. I think that we need more, so that way people don't have to feel that way anymore. People can look at it and be like, yes, this guy is fantastic, and we have reasons to say that he is fantastic. Because he shouldn't be overrated. He shouldn't be. I think that he's been underutilized because he's got so much cool potential. Like,
he gave Vader sass. He talked back to Vader. Like,
he talked back. He talked back to Vader and lived.
Yeah, like it doesn't happen every day.
And then, as far as we know, got killed by a blind man with a stick.
Have you seen Chair anyway? I'm just saying.
Okay, yeah, wait. Not that blind man with a stick, though.
I'm just saying, blind man with
I know.
sticks are forced to be
Blind men with
reckoned
sticks are definitely, yeah, when they're not Han Solo. But yeah, as far as my theories for The Mandalorian, I have a small theory on how Ahsoka comes into play, and I've made a TikTok on this before on how I think it works out. I think that see, I know that they cast Bo-Katan to be on the show, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to be a flashback. So either she's dead and it's a flashback, or she's alive and has been dramatically defeated to have the Darksaber taken off of her. So one way or another, I think that Ahsoka is coming back into the picture to try and help restore Mandalore again, like she did in season 7. I think that it just makes sense because they just made that connection so strong in season 7 between Bo-Katan and Ahsoka. Why would they not bring that old friends back into play in Mandalorian to bring Ahsoka back to the fray?
Yeah.
It makes sense. It makes sense. Now, you see the Darksaber, you see this all coming into play. That makes the most sense to bring Ahsoka back into the story. I think that seems like the most likely connection of plot points to me as to where they would be taking the story, as to why she would actually want to be involved.
I mean, you're making sense, man.
Yeah, you are.
Alyssa, what would you like to see?
I mean, obviously, I want to see Ahsoka because she's my favorite. Dang, what Kevin just said, I hadn't even thought about that. And now I'm like, wait, oh my gosh. Yeah, I do want to see how Moff Gideon got the Darksaber because I feel like that's one of the big questions that everybody's asking. And then hopefully now that we know Bo-Katan and Ahsoka will most likely show up, we'll get that information. I've also heard rumors that Sabine, like recently, people were saying that Sabine was rumored to show up, but I have no idea if that's reliable or... It would make sense because at the time when Rebels ends, Ahsoka and Sabine are together. So like,
Yeah.
If Ahsoka shows up in Mandalorian, then shouldn't Sabine? But I have no idea. We don't even know when the trailer's coming out. Like, we don't know anything. But yes, I do want to see that. And then I also want to see, I think it'd be so cute if like the child, Baby Yoda, had like this connection with Ahsoka. Like if they like if Din like found Ahsoka and is like gonna like kill her, but then the baby's like, no, dude. She has it. She has the thing. And he's like, wait, wait.
She has the thing.
You know? So, yeah.
No,
There's probably more I'm missing. I just can't
The
think
way
of
you
anything
just
right
described that. She has the thing.
I could definitely see a situation where something's wrong with the child. Maybe the child's sick or something like that. Has no idea who to talk to. Like, I don't even know what this is species-wise. And then Ahsoka's like, oh yeah, this is what's wrong with him. How do you know? Well, he told me through the Force.
He told me.
Here's what I want to see. This is a straight up. This is a long shot. But for one, I am excited to see Bo-Katan, especially because her voice actress is the perfect age and everything. Like Katie Sackhoff has been the voice forever, and she
looks the part. Like, yeah. She's always looked the part.
Yeah.
Like it would just be perfect. But here's the thing. What I want, and it's because I also love Marvel, so stick with me. If Rosario Dawson is being Ahsoka Tano, I do want Sabine there, and I want her played and I know she was already in Star Wars, but very, very briefly, you couldn't see her. But Jessica Henwick.
Yep.
Um,
I'm looking her up.
Jessica Henwick
She
was
would be
very
good, trust me.
briefly in there as Paige's as Paige what's her face's sister that died, right? But she played Colleen Wing in
Yep. Iron Fist.
Iron Fist, and she's a great martial artist. Like she has the physicality, like she could do it for sure. All right, and then
her sword play is incredible. Like in Iron Fist when she does everything she
Yeah.
does with swords.
So
Oh
the
my
last
God.
thing that I want to tie it all together is them to come in, and I've been trying to, because for some reason I can't remember the name of the character, Sana Staros. I want Sana Staros to also be in it, and I want her played by Simone Messick, who plays Misty Knight in Luke Cage. So we have a reunion of the Daughters of the Dragon
Yeah.
in Star Wars. And
Yes.
it would just be everything to me. And
When worlds collide.
yeah, and but overall though, I actually do get a little worried, right? Because I think The Mandalorian is successful because it touches on all the things that we love.
Mhm.
It plays in the same sandbox, but it doesn't touch any of the same toys, right?
Yeah.
And once we get into this whole game of cameos, I think it can detract from.
Yeah.
I don't want it to pull away from it. So as long as but in Filoni we trust.
Yes, that's
Exactly.
exactly
Exactly.
what I was about to say. I was about to say, you know what, I have the same worry, but
Dave Filoni knows what he's doing.
Filoni is involved and Favreau knows what he's doing too. I mean,
Yes.
so it's I trust those guys. I think they got a good enough head on their shoulders.
I make sure I pray to my Dave Filoni shrine every night before I go to bed.
I don't have my cowboy hat up here. I'd put it
Dave
on.
Filoni, please make sure Ezra's staying hydrated wherever he
And
Can we also hope for the future a small, like the child grows up to be a little Mandalorian with his little armor suit?
a
and be
little
a force,
tiny one.
Oh my
a
God.
force-wielding Mandalorians with a suit on and a little jetpack, and that'd be so funny to see.
Yes.
Just a teeny tiny little guy running around.
Yes.
With a little tiny dark saber, like a little
Yeah.
knife.
Yeah. Like a dagger-sized darksaber.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh man, I think
Oh
we
my
should
God.
go the second season. I think Disney hire us.
Hire us. Call us in. You got your new crew right here. Actually, no. Seriously, please hire us. I'm unemployed.
I'll relocate.
I'll drop out of school.
Any Disney execs, if you are paying any attention to this, please. I desperately need a job.
I feel that struggle, but okay. So that's our thoughts for the Mandalorian. Now, I know all of us want a Rebels sequel, but let's just say as far as Rebels, as far as the timeline, as far as Star Wars in general, what do you guys want to see going forward, and where can we find you? So give us your closing remarks. Where can we find your stuff? And I don't recall who I started with last time. I think it's Pat's turn.
What I want to see going forward, I'm liking the TV shows, the series. I'm also looking forward to the High Republic, all that stuff,
Mhm.
all the younger Yoda and more of his closer to his prime, I guess.
He's only 700.
Yeah, are we getting closer to his, like a series about him in his prime where he's just like a beast? But yeah, the High Republic. I'd like to see. I mean, I don't think they could ever do a rated R Vader movie or a rated R Darth Bane like movie or trilogy or something. I don't know. But either the High Republic and more TV series. I'm enjoying them right now.
Absolutely. And Kev? Oh,
be
sorry,
honest,
real quick.
Yes.
Pat, where can we find
Oh.
you?
All the links are in my bio. Just search Slapnut84. I'm on everything. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. And Kev?
The things that I'm looking forward to, honestly, I like where they've been going with video games. To be honest, like Jedi Fallen Order had, I like the fact Squadrons is gonna be cool. Squadrons is, I'm not much of a dogfight gamer, but I want to play it for the story. To be honest, but this is the thing. I like the fact that they're introducing games that are telling canon lore stories, like Fallen Order adding a whole new backstory that tied directly in. Wasn't essential, wasn't 100% necessary, but was more good lore, and I liked it. You know, and it was fun to play. The game mechanics were cool. It was a good experience and a great story. And I think that they've been managing that kind of thing pretty well. Like, I think that some of the new stuff they're coming out with is really, really beautifully done. And so I'm excited about that. And I also am excited about High Republic. I'm not much of a reader, but I am excited to see what other kind of media they come out with through the High Republic era.
Yeah.
I am on TikTok and Instagram at _dude_named_Kev. Dude named Kev. And currently I'm taking a bit of a posting hiatus. I don't know how much longer I'm going to take it, but I've been feeling a little discouraged on the good old TikTok lately, so I'm like not in the mood to post much. I don't feel like having the obligation, so. But I'm still there, and I will be returning to posting eventually. So, yeah, search me up. I will be there.
And the beautiful thing is that a lot of Kevin's content is evergreen. So whenever you see it, it's great. He's actually one of the people that inspired me to keep going and do my thing as well. So it's always appreciated.
Thanks, I appreciate that, Brandon.
But Alyssa?
What I want to see, I'm so, when I like watch something, I get so, I guess you could say obsessed. So like right now, all that's going through my mind is just,
Hyperfixation.
yes, a hyperfixation. All that's going through my mind right now is like Rebel sequel. But I know we're just not going to hear about it anytime soon. Though I have heard rumors that it is happening. I don't know if they're true. I'm excited about the Bad Batch. Just because I love the Clone Wars. So anything that has to do like with the Clone Wars, that era, and like the animation and the characters in it, I get excited about. Mandalorian 2, obviously.
How did I forget about the Bad Batch so quickly? Oh my
I know. I feel like everybody forgot about it.
I forgot about it, and that makes me sad because I'm like, man, it's another great in-betweener piece. Like, I feel like Bad Batch is going to be the missing piece of the puzzle in between Clone Wars and Rebels.
Yes.
It's supposed to be taking place post Order 66, but pre-Rebels, so you're going to get a little bit of that gap bridge there too.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. And then just Dave Filoni. Please stop messing with me. I just want one thing.
Playing games with my heart.
Exactly.
My heart.
I'm just saying, there's so many things you could do with a Rebel sequel.
Yes.
So many.
Oh man, Dave Filoni, he knows it too. And
And you know what? This is the thing too. I honestly think that a good enough Rebels sequel could really help quell a lot of people's problems with the sequels.
Yes.
Because you could use a Rebels sequel to help pave the way to leading up to all the events of the sequels,
Yes.
to where people would actually feel more connected. So they would understand that there was something that happened that caused this to be a connected universe. This isn't a disconnected or disjointed event. These are years in the making. These are things that slowly collaborated to happen. You could put all of these events into place in there. You could throw in the events of, actually, speaking of that, and I'm sorry that we're getting on another tangent, but somebody threw a really cool theory at me. They said, do you think that potentially one of the reasons why they have why the Empire or the remnants of the Empire are trying to hunt down Baby Yoda is because they are trying to figure out how to clone a Force sensitive, because Palpatine has already cloned himself, but it's unsuccessful. It's been unsuccessful, and they can't figure out how to get a successful clone.
Mhm.
So they're trying to hunt down this Force sensitive child in order to build him the clone that he needs to rebuild the Empire.
I mean, straight up, my assumption, even when the Mandalorian first started, because remember they did get him back, and they took a sample from him.
Mm-hmm.
My theory from the get-go was that sample, because his species is so long-lived, that was like Baby Yoda stem cells, and that's what was plugged into his neck. That's been my theory this entire time, you know. But I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? But you know, the guy that the Herner Warthog had like the cloning symbol, you know, around his neck. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. For me, personally, like there's so much other. I mean, you guys hit a bunch of nails on the head, especially with we have Squadrons coming out. That's a really interesting time period. Although I didn't quite connect with the Alphabet Squadron books, they talk a lot about that period of like, this is right after Operation Cinder, where the Emperor basically ordered everyone to burn everything down, and there's, you know, mass people like trying to leave, but there are certain remnants, and that's what we're going to find out more. And it's going to be Hera and her squad versus Grand Admiral Ray Sloan and hers. That's super awesome. Bad Batch, like you said, super excited for that, because we've never seen anything from this time period. Just after Order 66, how is this being structured? We know that the Purge troopers in Jedi Fallen Order are the last clones to be created, right? They are clones. But were there more in between there? I don't know. How did the Bad Batch take out their chips? Because all of them are really like weird.
Exactly.
I don't think that they went through with it. And most importantly, did they run into Quinlan Vos? Because Quinlan Vos survived Order 66. I need to know what happened to him. I love Dark Disciple. There's so much that we have to be excited for, even within the time period that we already know. Not even talking about High Republic or going to Old Republic or finding out what could be happening in the future. But if I could make any show right now, what I would do is Luke's Jedi School.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think
Yep.
that would give context on the universe at that period of time. It gives people peak Luke, which is what they've been wanting. It could the thing that was I think was the drawback to Resistance popularity was the lack of Jedi. I think that's what they want to see.
And by lack, you mean the literal zero Jedi in it.
Yeah.
Like there was
Absolutely.
not even one solo scene with a Jedi at all.
No
Unless-
lightsabers, no nothing.
Unless you count, you know, Kylo Ren at the very end.
Yeah. So if you did something about Luke starting his school and Luke, you know, going out to find Jedi artifacts and visit other Force sensitive cultures, that I think that's what we need.
Yeah.
And as soon as we get that, that solves everything.
Yep.
Yes.
But yeah, that's it. I want to thank you guys for joining me so much. This is it's such a treat. Like it always makes my week to talk to you guys, and I know I have a blast. I hope you guys
Same here.
did as well.
I did.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining me. Thanks everyone that's listening, and may the Force be with you always. All right, beautiful people.
Yeah.
Hey.
Awesome.